Hello, my name is Danielle. As my semester ends, I decided to do this video um, talking about my first pregnancy. I'm currently in school for social work and public health on the master's level. So, like I said, as the semester wraps up, finals is all about either exams or writing papers. Recently, I had to write a paper talking about prenatal depression, and it made me reflect on my experience with my pregnancy and just how I reacted initially with finding out that I was pregnant and how I told my family, their reaction on top of my reaction. um and just how all of that can play a toll in just how you care for yourself during the first trimester of your pregnancy. Not sure if some of you are pregnant, or if you're not, or if you are, congrats. It's a beautiful experience. It really is. Um, so I'll just jump right into the topic. I found out that I was pregnant, I want to say this past summer in July, like the end of July, the middle of July, going into the end of July. It was like a lunar eclipse going on that night. Um, and we went to the store around like 4 or 5 a.m. We went to Walmart. My boyfriend just got off work. And for weeks, I was like, something's not right. My boobs are swelling. I don't know what's going on. My body, looking for my cycle, is nowhere in sight. So I was like, okay, we need to go. So we go to Walmart and we get the pregnancy test. We come back, it's 5 a.m. I take the test. I literally sit on the toilet for like 10 plus minutes just in disbelief after the test already popped up positive and everything. And I literally walked out the bathroom. He's right there, and he's like, "So," it's like, "What to say? What to say, D?" And I'm like, "You can go see." So he gets up, he goes see, and he's like, "We're pregnant. We're gonna be a family." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're pregnant." Mind you, this semester was my very first semester in public health. So I was more so focused on school and my career and like life after graduate school and just where that's going to take me and what a baby means. So from his initial reaction, I was much more excited about the pregnancy. However, um, I personally, deep down inside, was not happy. Um, it caught me off guard. Although him and I were having unprotected sex, I didn't think that we would pop up pregnant. I more so thought, okay, him and I, we talked about kids, kids would happen one day, not that day. I thought it would more so be like later down the line, maybe like 2 years from 2018, and him and I will be good, we'll be fine, all the other great stuff. Um, but the fact that it happened all of a sudden to me, it really changed my life in a flash. I personally did not see myself becoming a mom. I would always tell him, "Oh, I don't want kids. I work with kids. I see how kids are." Um, some of the kids that I work with have behavioral problems. Some of them are autistic. Some of them, um, come from homes to where their parents aren't very loving or they don't have a stable home. So, I've always had my fears around bringing a child into this world and potentially becoming that parent, not being able to provide my child with the adequate love that I know that they deserve, because I was too busy focused on the things that I wanted to do versus, really providing for that child. Um, and then also some of the growth developments that some children can have, mentally, physically, emotionally. Um, it definitely, or developmental delays, shall I say, it definitely brought a lot of deep concern to the forefront of my mind. Um, I didn't necessarily know how to respond to it at all. Um, I was very angry. I had an attitude almost every day. I had an attitude with him, um, just because I pretty much was like, well, dang, like, well, I'm pregnant. If, we weren't having sex, or if we weren't together, if we weren't doing this, that, and the third, then I wouldn't be in this predicament. And, I pretty much blamed him when, in fact, it takes two to tango. So, just as much as he was a part of it, I was a part of it as well. However, at that time, my emotions clouded my thought process. So I was not able to think clearly, or, you know, just process what I was really feeling deep down inside. I more so felt like, it was his fault, when in fact, it was both of us. Um, I found myself becoming, I'll say, moody. Found myself a bit moody because, I was stressed with the fact that I would have to tell my parents. I was stressed with the fact that, you know, I would be starting my life with a man that I wasn't married to. Um, Granted, I know that we love and care for each other very deeply. I come from a family where, all my relatives are married. So it made me want to be the one who actually planned out my pregnancy, got married, completed my career, had the whole family and everything like that, versus have a baby, date him, get married, uh, what else? Work on a career and everything else. I didn't want that. I wanted to be a bit different. I wanted to be calculated in a way, because a lot of things in this world aren't really calculated, but I wanted to be. But, like they say, life happens when you're busy making plans. So, that's how Pumpkin came along. But, I just, I didn't think that I would be in such a dark place with accepting a pregnancy. I thought, whenever I got pregnant, I would be happy, I would be joyful, I would be screaming to the top of my lungs, saying, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. Excuse me, that wasn't necessarily the case. When I told my mom, we were in New York at a bar. She was having a drink, and I told her, I was like, "Yeah, mom, I'm pregnant." And she was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." She's like, "Are you playing?" It's like, no, kind of wish I was, but I'm not. And she just like looked. And I was like, "Ooh, okay." So she didn't say nothing about it. Um, she was like, "We'll talk about it." We didn't talk about it for the whole weekend until that Sunday on our ride back from New York. Listen, okay, my mom's the type of person to where she wants you to have a plan. She wants to know all the facts. You gotta come correct. At the time, I was not prepared to come correct. I was more so like, listen, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. Like, I need your help. Pronto. So, we spoke about it and I let her know my emotions about it. I told her I personally felt embarrassed. I felt um, ashamed. I was disappointed um, because the one thing that I expected for myself was to complete grad school, to make it through without any hurdles, any major hurdles that I had to jump over, um, and to make not only my parents proud but myself proud, to secure a good job, um, and to be the one that they would say, okay, you know what, you did really good. Like you planned your life out. It went as well. It went very well for you. You know, um, that necessarily wasn't the case. Uh, my mom didn't really hear me out as far as like my emotions and how I felt about the pregnancy. She more so was expressing her concern, and she was just like, well, what are you going to do? Do you know what this means? That's a picture of my mom right there and me. Do you know what this means? Um, you know, what's your plan? Or what's going to happen with school? And who's going to take care of this baby? I can't believe you. And why weren't you on birth control? And I'm like, first off, I stopped being on birth control like my sophomore year of college. Okay, I was like, I need my body to just regulate and just take its natural course. Boom. Um. So I've expressed to her a couple of times, like with my pregnancy, I've had thoughts of abortion. Um. Initially, I would pray and pray and pray and pray to God for a miscarriage. Thankfully, now I did not have a miscarriage, thank God. But my initial reaction towards my pregnancy was just, I was very selfish. I would cry all day, every day. I hid it well. People couldn't tell. I didn't look pregnant until I was like 4 months. Um, and even then, people still couldn't tell unless I told them. So now I'm currently 6 months and I have a nice little bump, but during that time, I lost tremendous weight due to being stressed. Um, I, oh my goodness, had to cut my mom off for a certain period of time because she was more so focused on her expectations that she had for me versus what her child, was going through and the emotional support that I needed. Um, so that right there just really deterred me um, from being happy about my pregnancy or getting to a happy place. So, she was like, well, you need to tell your dad. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do. And she was like, you still need to tell your dad. And I was like, wow. So I told my grandma, my dad's mom, before I told my dad, and her reaction was the same. She was very disappointed and she was like, I expected better from you. Although you're 25 years old, I just thought that, you would want better for your life and, you wouldn't be bringing a baby into the world right now. And I was just like, well, dang, like, all right. The one person I thought would be like, Danny, it's going to be all right, still give it to me real and raw. But I thought that it was more so going to be her being supportive. She was like, you need to tell your dad. So I told my dad, and the way I told him, he was not necessarily pleased with. So I didn't speak with my dad actually until, like, face to face, until I was 5 months pregnant. Um, I told my dad through my stepmother, and I was like, oh, we need to sit down, have a talk, and everything, because I know how my dad initially reacted when I lost my virginity. So I was like, I do not want to go through that again. If this man kills me, I need witnesses. Okay? Because he will not have me missing. All right? Like, I need people to know. Like, yeah, okay, right. So that, and but one of his concerns was, with me being in grad school and not really having a stable job right now, how this child would be provided for. Um, he wanted to know, okay, well, just because you live on your own and you're in school and you're doing good and everything like that, what exactly is going to happen? Are you prepared for this? Um, and I necessarily wasn't. It's still a shocker to me that I'm pregnant at times. But, I had to express to him that no one has to live with the physical and emotional burden that it would have been to have an abortion. And, you know, not criticizing anyone who's ever had an abortion before, but, I've done my research on it. I've looked up what methods. I um, looked up the side effects of it mentally, emotionally, physically, and I came to the decision that it wasn't for me. I prayed and prayed and prayed and cried and prayed um, to God to see, like, which direction I needed to go in. And I lied to you not. It was one day before school started. I had to make sure all my medical papers were in for the semester. And I saw a sign that said, every child deserves to live. And I lied to you and I was like, oh shit. Like, well, all right. Like, okay. That's that. And I was like, well, damn. Like, all right. Well, we gonna do this. And from there on, I made it up in my mind that I needed to have a healthier mindset about this pregnancy. I needed to pull myself out of the rut and, grow this bond with my baby and, talk to my child and make sure that I did everything possible to let this child know that I loved it. Um, and to get over my own selfishness. I more so had to see it from a different perspective as, okay, Danielle, you've lived your life, you've graduated undergrad, you're in graduate school now working on a dual degree. You're doing pretty good. You're in your mid 20s. I've had my fun. I've done the things that I've wanted to do. However, the path that I was going on with my fun was more so like, all right, you need to relax. I was having a little bit too much fun, okay? So, thankfully, my boyfriend and I had a conversation, and he's just like, D, if we're going to keep this, we have to get in the mindset of, being a family and doing what we have to do for Pumpkin and just making sure that she's okay and that, she knows that she loves and both of her parents are here for her. You know, um, we're both Scorpio, so we feel things intensely. We're both emotional and sensitive at times. So, when I'm hurting or I'm feeling a certain kind of way, he's more so there to help me with my emotions and help me talk them out. and give me that support that I need. Throughout this process, he has been my rock. He has been awesome because he has helped me not stay in that rut, stay in that place of um, depression, of being so stressed out with school, starting a new program, responding to everyone's reaction about my pregnancy on top of my own reaction about my pregnancy, um, and just feeling embarrassed. Um, I more so felt like, wow, I just popped up pregnant. I wouldn't say I did, but I did. Um, Granted, him and I dated for some time. It's more so one of those things to where even if you date a person for some time and you pop up pregnant, it's like, oh, okay, well, wow. Like, all right, singlehood is over. My life is over. Like, that's how I felt. That's not necessarily the case. I more so was used to doing everything on my own, being by myself, being alone, having freedom to do whatever I please. Um, and the fact that that was changing for me was very hard to accept. I did not know how to accept it, to be honest with you. Um, there were times where, you know, he would go out or I would see my friends go out and I would just feel out the loop and I would cry. Like I would cry as if it was nobody's business because I felt like I was being left out. And it hurt. It hurt, okay? Being pregnant is like being in a whole different world. Um, there's no drinking. There's no recreational activities, okay? Um, and you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your body. You have to protect this little baby that's inside of you. Um, because anything can happen and people are weird. Some people are creeps that you just really have to be like, okay, well, wait a minute, like let me just back up and check my environment and see if this is really for me. Um and I can say that right there has definitely helped me to become a better woman because I'm I wouldn't say I was ever carefree with myself, but I'm more so protective of myself because I am carrying her. So it's not just about me anymore. It's about myself and Pumpkin, or Pumpkin and I. And it really makes me happy now to, be a mom, be her mother, um, walk with her through life, and her walk with me. Um, it's a blessing in disguise. I will definitely say that. However, I personally did not feel that way at first, and to be at this place now to where I finally accepted it, I'm happy about it. I talk to her, have conversations with her, we dance, we twerk. um, it's a girl's world, and my boyfriend living in our little world. But that's one of the beautiful things about it. I've been able to create a beautiful bond with her, um, through all the turmoil that happened. And because I went through prenatal depression and anxiety, I was stressed. I had mood disturbances. I felt sad. I cried. Um, I barely had social support outside of my boyfriend and immediate friends that I told. Um, it was really hard, but being at this place now, it's one in a million. I truly have joy. I'm happy. Um, I can definitely say this little girl moves around to the sound of my voice. She's asleep now, but it's it's one of those experiences that I now do not take for granted because I understand that carrying a baby can be difficult. It's it's not something that, everybody wants to go through. Some women pray to get pregnant. Some women hope that, one day that they'll carry a baby and be a mom and everything. Once upon a time I wanted to be a mom. However, at this point in time in my life, I didn't necessarily want to. But it just so happened that it found me. I had to suck it up and be a big girl and, do what I had to do to make sure I did not stay depressed during this entire pregnancy. Um, Mama D, which is my brother's mother, she, you know, would talk to me and just tell me, like, Danny, be happy during your pregnancy, be happy. This baby, she can feel everything. Be happy, Danny. And every time she would say that, I would cry. Like, I would cry, okay? Because I was like, well, how am I supposed to be happy? And, I'm in school, I have all this to do, they want me to come to class every day at 5, and I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep and eat. I couldn't even eat back then, but now, I just want to eat. But it was just, I didn't know how to be happy. And I think that's what really forced me to say, okay, Danielle, you got to find some things that make you happy. You got to get your butt up, do what you got to do, excuse me. Granted, I was taught to, some of my friends, some of them didn't necessarily understand what it's like to not want a baby. All of them was like, oh, it's a joyful experience, girl. You better be happy. Listen, until it happens to you, you don't know how you're going to react to a pregnancy. Okay? Just being honest. It wasn't until I spoke to my nail tech, Shy, and she was just like, girl, I had that same reaction with my second pregnancy. It's perfectly normal. It's fine. Just accept it. Be the best mom that you can be. And she definitely told me, she was just like, you have to do what's best for you. Not everybody will understand your life journey. Not everybody is meant to understand your life journey. Not everybody is meant to be a part of your life journey. That's a word. But at the end of the day, that's your baby. It's your body. It's your life. However, and whatever you decide to do, you have to make sure that's what you really want to do. I took that into consideration with all the reactions that I received, and it definitely made a huge difference. I started to build this wall up towards people and their reactions, and I more so felt like I had to protect her and I, to make sure my personal emotions were okay and that other people's emotions weren't being projected onto me while I was, you know, uh, self reflecting and having a moment of introspection to really determine, okay, what I wanted to do and, just how to get to the state of happiness and joy and um, acceptance of the pregnancy. Um, so I say all of that to say, with this prenatal depression paper, it has definitely taught me, if you're pregnant and you're going through depression, seek care, talk about it. Not everybody will react the same way, not everybody wants to listen, um, not everybody is willing to talk about it. Um, but talk about it. Talk to your provider, talk to your doula or your midwife if you have one. Gratefully, I have a doula and she's awesome. And I've told her from beginning to even now just how I feel about my pregnancy, and she's been nothing short of great. Um, but with prenatal depression comes preterm birth, low birth weight, high cortisol levels. Cortisol is the hormone that your body releases to help with stress. Um, and that can be found in the baby when the baby is born. Your child can have developmental delays. What else? Um, what else? The kid can also okay. My stepmama told me not to say the kid, so a pumpkin or a baby can have behavioral problems later on down the road. So it's one of those things, like, even though you may have had depression in the past, or you may just only have depression during your pregnancy, or, excuse me, bits of sadness during your pregnancy, definitely check it out. Ask yourself what's going on. Ask yourself if you need to talk to someone. Ask yourself if, counseling is best for you, or if not counseling, then, if you indulge in exercise and go for a walk, run, play tennis if you can. I looked up the benefits of yoga. I love yoga. Absolutely adore it. You know, um, Indulge in a bit of yoga. See if you can do it. Ask your doctor first, but you know, find and develop certain hobbies and habits that are going to help you get out of this rut. That's going to help you move on to the next stage of your life, um, which would be motherhood, in a beautiful, joyful way. Um, because the transition to motherhood, it's one that it's a slow process, but it's very quick. Okay, 9 months comes by just like that. Okay, listen, I'm wobbling into my third trimester. Okay, child. Thankfully, my face still looks pretty good, and I ain't gained no weight in my face just yet. But that's just one of those things that comes along with pregnancy. Um, you know, Later I can show posts and about, talking about my belly and showing my belly and everything like that. And um, but hopefully this video was helpful. Um, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, this is my first video ever. I've been wanting to do this. I've just never taken out the time to do it. Um, this is just something that I felt the need to talk about. So hopefully you like it, subscribe to it, um, and hopefully you just got an insight into what it's like to be pregnant and the emotions that you go through initially. So, hope this helped. Bye.